When surfing slang spread inland to the shopping malls of the suburbs, it became middle class and cuter. It became the talk of the so-called valley girls.
Either you're angry with somebody and you just want to say, oh, forget it, bag your face, or just like, you're so ugly, bag your face, get away from me, Grody. Something really disgusting, gross, or something yuck, like slime.
If you see a guy and he's really cute and stuff, you could say he's awesome.
It's something that's great, could be tubular. Something that's really weird, could be tubular.
You go someplace really nice, where you have a lot of fun, you say it's a bitchin' place, You say bitchin' about guys, and guys that are cute, of course.
To the max, yeah, that's like the ultimate, It's like there's nothing greater than the max.
It totally is used when you want to emphasize all those words that you said. It's like totally bitchin', totally awesome, totally everything.
Slang like this flashed around the world when Frank Zappa's daughter, Moon Unit, made her hit single, Valley Girl.
Dips and sauce.
Valley girl, she's a valley girl. Valley girl, she's a valley girl. Okay, fine, for sure. She's a valley girl in a clothing store. Okay, fine, for sure.
Surfers might refer to a wave as being tubular, whereas the Val might think that, something that she ate for breakfast was tubular, or a dress that she saw.
It's like somebody else's food, It's like grody to the max, I'm sure. It's like really nauseating. Like, bark out, gag me with the spoon, gross. I am sure. Totally.
I think that the Valley Girl ease language was a happy passing fancy. It was a kind of streaker. Whatever happened to streakers? The people who ran naked across the stage to shock. Well, in the same way, we have our streakers in language, where you get a flare-up of some activity, and a few words come from it, like the Valley Girls with the grody and the mac, and are gone.
Thank you very much. You've all been insipid and vacuous, and I'm never going to perform again. Thank you so much.
Gay slang has spread from San Francisco to world English and is giving new meanings to old words.
Gay is an interesting word. Gay has meant cheerful, lighthearted, carefree. It has also had a slang meaning. Gay ladies were prostitutes. And gay had a pejorative connotation in slang for many, many years, for centuries. So when homosexuals took on the word gay to define themselves, they chose a word that had connotations.
Tom Amiano is a gay stand-up comedian. His comic routines are suggested by the codes of the gay community. And so gay parlance becomes the talk of straight society, too.
A lot of gay terminology has now been appropriated. For instance, out of the closet. So-and-so came out of the closet and is a liberal. So-and-so came out of the closet and is a born-again something or other. Hello. You hear this term coming out. Did he come out? He's half out. When did you come out? To make it known that you're gay.
They said, well, what does it mean, queen? I said, well, there's all different kinds of queens. They said, well, give us examples. I said, well, there's dizzy queens and mad queens and lipstick queens and drag queens and macho queens and feather queens and disco queens and leather queens and tragic queens and magic queens and screaming queens and dreaming queens and attitude queens and platitude queens and hustle queens and muscle queens and pissy queens and sissy queens, black queens, white queens, left queens, right queens, red queens, dead queens, acid queens, speed queens, down queens and weed queens, Wizard of Oz queens and closet queens, size queens and aging queens and raging queens, to name a few.
Fall to the mat.
The feminist movement is already having an effect on world English. California has led the way in chopping sexism out of language.
Jab to the face. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Front snap, kick to the groin.
Chairman, policeman, and congressman are among the words being challenged by feminists. Some radicals have even turned history into herstory.
1, 2,
The end of linguistic male chauvinism also means a new word for mankind.
People. As a Buddhist, there's a prayer, the last prayer, and it says, I pray for the happiness and peace of all mankind. It says this in the book, and I have to say to myself, I pray for the peace and happiness of all people.
The public opinion polls show that 30% of American women support and or themselves use the Ms. as a form of address. The government now uses it. Many businesses use it. And I might add we owe a debt to England in this regard because the Oxford English Dictionary includes Ms., MS, as a contraction for mistress being a married or unmarried female, I think from the 17th century.
There is sexism in language, and it should be considered. And when you talk about a mailman, and there are women working in that field and who want to work in that field, you can't call a woman mailman a mailman. She's a postal worker. Same thing with the idea of the rights of the working man. It should be the rights of the worker. So there are good words that can cover both men and women.
It's just very important, I think, to make language accurate and inclusive and to convey our real meaning. It's the strength of the English language that it does change as we change.
In Silicon Valley, even the streets have jargon names. Carl Rosendahl is one of a new generation of entrepreneurs who've made online and high-tech part of world English. He is already a millionaire with a state-of-the-art TV graphics company, Pacific Data Images. These images owe nothing to pencil or paintbrush, but are created entirely by computer programs.
Well, it is a very complex business, and so we have our own language that we use in-house for getting ideas across more efficiently to each other.
We have for the next low-res coming up.
It seems to fishtail right and left. It gives me quite a seasick feeling. Can we do anything about that?
Yeah, I think it's a discontinuity in the second derivative of the camera rotation.
Okay, well, you've got derivatives, and I've got seasickness. This business is so new, and it's so technologically based that it really has had to develop its own language. They're very attractive words to jump on, and the way they've crept into the language is interesting. We go to a local video store, and they sell hardware, which are the machines, and they carry software.
Every other video frame. Hardware and software now refer to more than just computers and their programs, but like tangible objects and intangible objects. So my head is filled with software. I've got all these ideas, but if I take and build something, that would be hardware.
The round bulbs, why are they square?
Well, those are low-res bulbs there. I swapped out the high-res bulbs because the high-res bulbs are so polygon intensive.
Like if you get up in the morning and you're not feeling very good, you may say, I feel really low-res, versus, high-res, real sharp and ready to go.
We don't talk to people anymore. We interface with them.
I'm in work mode. I'm in vacation mode. When I'm in work mode, don't talk to me about my home life. And when I'm in vacation mode, don't bother me with work. I heard an interesting one the other day using read-only memory, referring to a person. So he's got read-only memory, which means that you can't get an idea into the person, but he's full of them to give out to you.
The center of gravity of American English seems to have moved from the East Coast to the West Coast, and everything is happening in California now.
American English, especially vernacular American English, slang and idiom and so on, is spoken by people who don't even know that it's American. They assume it's English. Also, I regret to say that a great many students and businessmen and so on of all nations pick up the bureaucratic American English, which is full of polysyllables, and has lost simple prepositions and simple English.